Is Wolfman a vicious bite or a little nibble? Let's talk about it. Hello everybody, welcome to Mic'd Out Podcast, aka Nibble and Flicks. I'm your host, Jeff Reed. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. In this video, we're going to be talking about the movie Wolfman. This film is the latest take on the werewolf lore. It was directed by Lee Wen, also the director for Invisible Man, which was a brilliant film. So the movie stars Christopher Abbott playing Blake, a journalist who's between jobs and a staying-at-home dad. Julia Garner, who's playing Charlotte, is Blake's wife, but also is a workaholic journalist. And their daughter Ginger is played Matilda first. The plot of this film is Blake and his family travels to Oregon to clean out his father's farmhouse, which leads them to being attacked by an unseen animal in a desperate escape, barricading themselves inside a farmhouse as a creature prowls the perimeter. Blake is scratched by the creature, and as the night stretches on, Blake begins to transform into something unrecognizable that is soon jeopardizes his wife and his daughter. So the movie takes a different approach. Rather than the traditional way, it treats like more of this scratch is like a disease, a contagious disease that takes over your body, and over a course of the night you slowly transform into a werewolf. This movie also takes a different approach than other werewolf movies, only because it shows the process. It's basically like a slow burn of him transforming into a werewolf, with other films where they just turn a werewolf real quick and they go out and just mow down people, and that's what people usually expect when it comes to werewolf movies. But this one, they actually take their time with it. It's basically a journey. It's a journey of you going through it with Blake, his wife, and his daughter Ginger, just going through the process of basically seeing a loved one turn into something that might become dangerous throughout the night. And you actually go through the steps with them and see what goes through Blake's transformation, and a lot of that type of slow turning body horror. There's a part in the film where he's like gnawing his arm, just stuff like that. Like, they really take their time to show you the transformation and show how it's really affecting his family. And what I mean by slow burn, the movie actually takes Blake's point of view, and you see how he is transforming through his eyes. And I thought that was an interesting concept that the director took, only because we really don't get that. We really basically get, the werewolf turns to a monster, he goes out, mows people down, and he dies later, or someone kills him with silver bullet, something like that. They actually have you go through his entire process of becoming, first getting scratched and then becoming the werewolf. And I thought that was really good, because it's part of the movie where actually it's a couple of times you see in a little bit of the trailer, you really don't know what's going on, but what is really going on. He starts to not really understand what his wife's saying. He doesn't know what his family's saying to him. He can't communicate properly. He develops the kind of like this night vision kind of thing. I want to say wolf vision or something like that, but it's kind of like a night vision where it later plays on in later the film where there's a real dark scene and you can't really see anything. Then you see the wolf vision, and it kind of plays out pretty cool. And I like that aspect, because it actually puts you in a point of view where Blake is just slowly transitioning into a werewolf. I can see some people not liking that, because they, you come through the movie to see a werewolf movie, you want to see some action. However, I did like the slow burn of the transformation of him becoming the werewolf and going through all the different changes in body horror as well. Christopher Abbott does a really good job here. I think he makes up his performance from Craven. It's really not his fault. I mean, it was just a bad movie, but here he actually does a great job, performing with the prosthetics throughout the transition of him becoming the werewolves. I think he did a great job. Julia Garner does a really good job playing Charlotte, who is a frustrated workaholic journalist who's in a marriage that's falling apart, and watching her loved one, her husband, becoming into this werewolf. And she plays it like being petrified, terrified for herself and for Ginger, their daughter. And she does an amazing job here, just conveying this terror of watching your loved one, being sympathetic for that person, also becoming terrified of them at the same time, was absolutely fantastic. And every time I see Julia Garner, she always does great. I'm super excited to see her and what she does as Silver Surfer, and fantastic for a movie. So every time I see her on screen or on TV, I'm definitely tuned in, because I know I'm going to get a great performance from her. So the film leaves you hanging. Like, there's not a lot of jump scares. Most of them are in the trailer. There's far in between that's not in the trailer. The one that I'm thinking specifically is what I talked about earlier with the pitch black scene was actually taking place in a barn, but it doesn't really go anywhere. The film basically focuses on mostly on the intensity, the suspense of Blake becoming the werewolf, and what his family, Charlotte and Ginger, are going through, trying to help him out. Should they leave? Should they not leave? Just basically the tense scenes of that. There is like the scene where he does fight the werewolf that originally scratched him. You kind of figure out what's going on. That was kind of predictable with that too, but it's not too bad. But I feel like they could have done it more. But like I said, if you're coming into this to watch something, a lot of action, a lot of jump scares, a lot of stuff like that, you're not really getting that in this film. I enjoy the performance in this film. I wish I had a little more jump scares and more action in the film, and I think the ending was kind of predictable. But like I said, I can see people complaining about this film because you're not really getting your typical werewolf movies where you see a guy transform super early, or at least in the middle of the film, and then to go off and rip people to shreds. You're not getting that. This is more of like a tight film. It's like 90 minutes and it doesn't drag at all. But it's a slow-paced film, and it's just a film of just Blake transforming into the werewolf very slowly at night. His family's dealing with it. They got to figure out, what to do, what's going on with the situation. The body horror, like I said, I felt that was very good to actually see him going through and how he's trying to fight it, but he can't fight it. It's just taking over, it's consuming his body. So I like the body horror. So the verdict, I think this movie is good. It's decent, it's good. It's not like great, anything like that. I enjoyed the performances. I wish there were more jump scares and more action in the film. Like I said, it's more slow burn and going through the process of the transformation. And the ending was kind of predictable, which I thought it would be. But like I said, I could see some people not liking it because, you're expecting to come see a werewolf movie. Guy turns into a werewolf, you start rip people to shreds. You're not really getting that in this film. It's very slow paced, and I can see that a lot of people get annoyed with that. So what do you guys think? Did you guys watch the movie? Did you not watch the movie? If you did watch the movie, do you agree with what I said? Do you feel differently? Is there anything that I missed that you think I should have talked about? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. And thank you for watching. See you next video. Take care. This is Jeff. Goodbye.